welcome to the show today. I'd like to thank all of you that have subscribed and liked my videos. I never thought I'd have this many subscribers, and I'm so excited about that. I just want to thank you for watching today and tuning into my YouTube channel. I enjoy doing this. I like to talk about things. My show is called Allowed to Talk. And we're going to talk today about a subject that I picked. Now, I'm in the camper, and every time I move my arms, the camera is sort of moving because I have it propped up on something. And I'm in my camper. The only thing that I own, my husband and I, is a camper right now because we live with our daughter, our oldest daughter. And she's a wonderful, beautiful woman. She has COVID right now, so prayers appreciated. She's homesick. So I thought I'd come out in the camper today to do the show. And I have a topic picked, and I want to talk about that topic. But first, about my daughter. My oldest daughter's 43. She has COVID. She's doing okay. It's like a bad head cold. She's feeling really sick and stuffy and has a headache, and she's off work for a few more days, and she's been gradually getting better every day. And because it is COVID, our newest virus that is going around, she is off work, and she actually has a computer here at the house, and she works from home, so prayer appreciated. Now, my daughter is basically a healthy woman, except she is overweight like I was. I am still, but for many years I was over 200 pounds. And now I weigh in my 160s, which is healthier, but having stomach issues. So prayer for me, too. I haven't gone to see the gastroenterologist until October 3rd. Today is September 11th, 2023, and I go October 3rd, 2023. So back to the show. Just want to thank you all for watching my videos. But back to the show today. The title of my show, what the subject I want to talk about is, here in my camper, is why would you feel like you are in the way? So when I first moved in with my daughter, I told her I wanted a kitchenette. And she said, well, we're at work every day and we're home only on weekends. We work 8 hours a day. It takes us a half hour to get to work. So you have 9 hours to cook what you want and do what you want. But I still feel when they're there, I'm in the way to use their kitchen. Because you know how two women in any kitchen is. Whether it's your daughter or sister, brother. I know people get along and love to cook and do things in the kitchen, but I never was the best cook, and she's a good cook, and my youngest daughter's I have two daughters. My younger daughter's a very good cook too. They learned because we watched a lot of shows on TV, that chef guy and the other chef guy, and I can't remember their names right now. I guess Emerald and those people. And they're very good cooks, and I'm not. I'm still very average, and I'm not really interested in cooking. But here, let's get back to the subject of why would you why would you feel like you're in the way? For me, I'm going to answer for me. So maybe you'll learn something from what I am talking about why would you feel in the way. Some people think, whatever, we can get along. We'll have our days where we just stay in our room, or we're grouchy or grumpy or anything, just feeling down, just feeling like things are overwhelming. The bills, just like out front here, they had to repair the pipe where they broke it, the fiber optic. People putting in the fiber optic tubes or pipes broke right through their septic. So we had to shower in this camper and use this bathroom. So I thank God for this camper, but it's all that me and my husband have. It's a $26,000 camper, which isn't worth a lot as a used camper now. We're lucky if we can get $15,000 for it. So I always go into analyzing everything. So I'm very anal, I guess is the right word. I'm a pain in the anal. That's what my husband might say. But the subject is, why would you feel like you're in the way? Okay, for me, I'm going to answer. Okay, I was the 10th child born to my mom and dad. My mom was 40 years old when I was born. I think she was done. She was tired and done. And my older sisters had to watch me a lot. My oldest sister, that is 17 years older than me, she is 83 now, I think, or 84 even. I'm not sure. Her birthday's June 7th, but I'm not sure if she's 83 or 84, but she's in her 80s and I'm in my 60s. So yeah, she kept me a lot. Well, right when I was more vulnerable to needing nurturing, she got a job as waitress, as a restaurant waitress. And then when I was 6 years old, she got married, and my other sister too that helped, Jeannie Beanie, she got married too. They had a double wedding. But the 10th child of 10, and my mom had 12 deliveries of babies. One of those deliveries in the 1940s was a stillborn, and she lost that child. And then one that lived a little bit and passed away, she named Linda Lou, that didn't live. That was in the 1940s. I was born in the 1950s, and she had just had a girl. 7 girls. I was the 7th girl, and she had 3 boys. And she told me later in life, in my 20s, after I had kids, that she wanted a boy and wanted to name me after my dad. And that answered some of the questions of why I felt like I'm in the way. And I still have those, like I'm in the way. And that's how I feel to this day. And my oldest daughter doesn't or my youngest understand how I can feel like I'm in the way. Maybe that's a little narcissistic to feel like I'm in the way, I guess. But it's more mental health issues for surely. But thinking that I'm a bother, I'm in the way. But that's how I feel. I can't understand it, but it's how I feel, like I'm in the way. The 10th child of 10, 7 girls. My mom was done. The girl that's a year and 5 months older than me, I say a year and a half, was the baby at the time, who my oldest sister, Peggy, kept a lot. And then when I was an infant, she got a job as a waitress. Okay, that's one thing. My mom was just done too. 40 years old. She was tired. It was unintentional, but it happened. It's the truth. That's what I'm getting at here. Why would I feel like I'm in the way? Here's one reason. The 10th child. My mom, a loving, caring person who my oldest daughter reminds me of. My mom was a wonderful, loving person, but she had 10 children, and she worked hard. She worked her rear off sewing clothing in a factory, which as a baby, a young 1-2-year-old kid, I don't understand that at all. That she's working her rear off to get food on the table and to pay the bills that had to be paid. I didn't get that. I don't understand it. My mom was a rescuer, and her hobby after work was to cook. Cooking, baking. She loved baking cookies. She was the best sugar cookie maker in the world. But I didn't understand that as a kid. I'd run up as a 2-3-year-old and grab her dress, and she'd keep walking to the stove or the sink area to chop up food. But one thing she hated was cleanup and dishes. So as I got older, growing up, 12, 13, if she got home from work and we got home from school about a half hour, an hour before she got home from work, and the dishes weren't done, I'll just explain it like this. She went berserk. I'm not going to go into detail, but if the dishes weren't done. So unless I have the dishes done, I sometimes feel like I'm in the way. I'm worthless if the kitchen's not clean. There was times when I didn't clean the kitchen. I was tired after school. I just wanted a mayonnaise sandwich or something. And I made that and watched a TV show like Gomer Pyle or Dark Shadows. If you know those shows, you're in your 60s for sure. I'm 66, by the way. So, and my mom would go berserk if those dishes weren't done. So I still have a mental issue with dishes being done. Can I let them set? Yeah, in my own house where I don't feel like I'm in the way, I could let my dishes go overnight and then do them the next day, pile them in the sink a little bit. But when I'm with someone else at their house, unless they say, oh, don't worry, it's okay, I think I have to do the dishes. A mental health issue? Oh, yes. That's why I feel I'm in the way. I feel like I'm in the way. Do you ever feel like that? I'm sure there's people listening right now that do. And it's not a good feeling. It's a feeling of that you're worthless and you're a nobody. So my mom was a rescuer, and I didn't complain much about anything. I just would go in my own little world after my dad told me I will either shut up or he's going to punch me in the face. You know, that sort of makes you walk on eggshells, and you're afraid to say anything about anything that's going on in the family, even though you did, after keeping it down deep inside your gut for weeks or months, you would explode sometimes, which I did that, of course. Where else could it go? You know, oh, I know there's people who do other things, but I don't do that. I didn't do that. I just held it in and blamed myself and thought, I feel like I'm a worthless piece of crap. So she'd rescue people that were living life that was pretty bad. Like some of my brothers' wives that were cheating on them. That's where I'll end that. And as a kid, I was told I was bad, 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 a lot. Like when I supposedly ran away from the store, Bargaintown store in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I couldn't find them. They were 2 aisles away. I was 4. They were teenagers. So I went out the opening electronic door and tried to walk home, and some lady, a red-haired lady, picked me up. And when I yelled my cousin's name when we drove past his house, because they only lived like 1.5 miles from our farm, because we lived with our grandparents on the farm. My mom and dad rented a house from them, the smaller house at the farm. And I yelled his name. She took me to my aunt's. My aunt opened the door after they knocked, said, "How did you get my niece?" And then they took me back. My grandma came, not my mom. She didn't drive, but she didn't come along to take me back to the store. And there was a police officer there, and he told me how bad I was, that I ran away from them. Looked over my left shoulder, and there was my 3 older teenage sisters bawling their heads off. They didn't come to hug me or say, "We're so glad you're okay." My grandma didn't say, "I'm glad you're okay, nothing happened to you." And the police officer definitely didn't say that. He just told me I'm a bad 4-year-old kid. 4-year-old kid, I'm bad for running away. You're bad, 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 bad. See what I'm talking about? And that's how I felt, like I was bad and not worthy to even be hugged, because I didn't get many hugs. That's true to say. I don't care what any of my family of origins or my sisters say. I lived my life at the time when I did, when things were going on. My older brother moved back. He divorced his nymphomaniac, look that word up, wife, sex addict wife, I'll tell you what it is, and brought his 4 kids. And my mom, because once I was 2 when she became a grandmother, grandmother's important, and I was shoved aside then already. And then when brother moved home at 4, I ran away. I was horrible. At 4.5, 5, when my other sister went to school, my grandparents kept me. I saw my grandpa eating pink pills, taking some pink pills. So I wanted that. It was candy, I thought. No one told me those are medicine. So I climbed up on the sink and got them out of the 2nd or 3rd shelf of their cabinet, and I ate all the pills. And they called the doctor, but until the doctor got there, I had thrown them all up. And did I hear, "Oh, we're so glad you threw them up and you're fine, your health is fine"? I don't know. Laying on that day bed in my grandma's front living room, a front area, the den or whatever it was called, where the TV was, I was told, "You are so bad because you ate those pills. And you're lucky you threw them up. You're bad, 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 bad. You're in the way. You're in the way. You're a bother." They didn't say that, but that's how I felt. And then when I went with my one older sister, where she babysat in town on some street in the city, I don't remember the name of the street. I say whatever street, I don't know, but I was bad. But my sister, that's 1 year and 6 months older, she was so good the day before she took her. But I was bad, so I called my sister a name that my one brother made up for her. And I was told, "Not you need to get better and I'll give you another chance." I was told, "You will never, ever come back with me again here. You are bad." So I'm in the way. I'm a nobody. And then when my older sister, that's 1 year and 6 months old, remember I had 6 sisters. I was the 7th girl. Linda Lou passed away, and the stillborn child were daughters too. They were both girls, and she had 3 sons. Her favorite was the oldest child, and the truth is the truth is the truth. Her oldest son, that was 19 years older than me, who had trouble with a wife and other troubles in his life that I tried to speak up about. And I was told, "You have no say in anything. You are just a child. You are to be seen and not heard." I was too young to go with my sister, 1 year and 6 months older. Every year, as my aunt from California, Aunt Peg, came in to visit, "You're too young to go bowling with her. Oh, you can't stay overnight at Cousin Patsy's because you wet the bed." And if I got in bed with them, which only happened once because I was scared of the dark, I was like 5 years old, and I got in bed with my parents and I wet the bed. And it wasn't, "Oh, you had an accident, let's try to help you." It was, "Look what you did in our bed." It was always my fault. I don't know if that's how you grew up, if that's how it was back then, but this is why I feel like I'm in the way and I'm nobody. I'm worthless. I dealt with a lot of abnormal crap with my older brother because he was like 25 when he came back with his 4 children, which I love those kids like my own sister and brother. But my mother became their mother because their mother was a horrible person. So I didn't speak up because of my dad saying he's going to punch me in the face, and my mom told me I'm to be seen and not heard. So I hardly said anything until I got to the point of just going, what's the right word? Just losing my temper and exploding. One time I punched the front door and it was the window that broke, and I had to get stitches in my hand because of that. And my mom didn't talk to me about that. She just had my older brother take me to the emergency room and they put stitches in it. And that was the end of that. Never told, why would you do that? Or I understand, or here, why are you upset? Yeah, my brother was always who I had to go with. I was too young and wet the bed, so I couldn't go places where my sister, a year and 6 months or a year and a half, year and 5 months. I'm off by some of the months, but you know what I'm saying. I couldn't go with her, so I was sent with my older brother with his 4 kids, and the oldest one was a girl, and I did everything wrong to her. I was in the way. I took up too much room in their car, and we'd fight in that back seat all the time. And my brother would say, "Hey, if you two don't stop fighting, you, Catherine, you're going to be dropped off at the El Parado," which was a scary restaurant in town, and we lived like 5 miles out of town on a farm. So I believed that he would drop me off there, so I was terrified that if I fought with her, so she was always right. If we'd fight about a TV show, it's my dad's TV. So I'd say, well, it's my mom's house. But she treated them like her own children. Even at my mom's funeral, my niece, the oldest grandchild of hers, said that my mom was her mom. And I just said nothing. I didn't go up and talk because my mom was her mom. And I was pushed aside. My mom rescued people. Some of the people cheating on my brothers, she treated them like they were, I know as a Christian, she was treating them like they were loved because God loves them too. I know this. But as a young child needing nurturing and attention and validation, I didn't get much. Just like here's an example that there was a play for my Aunt Peg. Every time she came in from California, they'd have a play. So this year they wanted to do a little wedding, and there was a white gown from my cousin Patsy's dance. She had dance lessons. She had roller skates. I'm the only one that could fit her roller skates, so I got those, and I went roller skating a lot. My one uncle took us roller skating on Sunday, so that was something I could do and loved doing. But this white dress, they were going to have a little wedding for Aunt Peg, a play. The flip-flop club, we called them. My older sisters called them. I was like 8, 9 years old then. And the dress that they thought would fit my sister that's a year and 6 months older didn't fit her anymore, or Patsy. So I heard out loud by one of the sisters, I'm not sure which one it was one of the older sisters that was a teenager then. "Oh, because it doesn't fit them, we're going to have to let Catherine be the bride." Just like it was disappointing that I had to be the bride. Because the sister, a year and 5 months older, it didn't fit her. So yeah, do they think kids don't hear what they're saying when they're talking gossip? Do they think kids can't hear? When they say, they speak like kids don't understand what you're saying and what talking about. They'd rather be cooking. My mother'd rather cook a meal and bake cookies and never teach me a darn thing about cooking other than watching the oven. I can do that real good, time it and see when they're done. I always felt like I was not and never good enough. I was a nobody and I was worthless. So you think complex post-traumatic stress response? Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. But no, it's just me. It's all just me. I was born crazy. According to some of my sisters, I was born this way with mental health issues. Yeah, maybe I was more sensitive and more in tune and aware of what's going on around me and wanting to learn and know, not be left outside by myself, because the other sister was at Patsy's house, my uncle's house, with her cousin Patsy playing dress up, and I peed in bed. So no, I had to run around the farm and watch the butchering from the other side of the fence and the chickens being tied by their legs up on a chain and heads chopped off, flopping around at age 4. And just left to run like a wild animal is what I'll say. That shouldn't upset me or make me a little bit like I feel like I'm in the way because I feel like I'm in the way, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, doesn't understand it. But I know and I understand. I try to deal with it, and I try to be around them in the kitchen and say, I'm here to help. I'll help load or unload the dishwasher or do these pots and pans because, otherwise I'm a nobody piece of crap in the way. It's the only way I feel like I have any self-esteem. Who took my self-esteem? I think I know. And here's some things I wrote down that were said to me. And there's probably many more that I'm not remembering because I'm sort of blocking them out of my mind, but I wrote these down. You are never going with me here again. You should be seen and not heard. Who died and made you the boss? You have no say in it. Didn't you learn anything in school today? Why are you crying? I'm going to give you something to cry about. You have no reason to be crying. You are bad, bad, bad. Like another example, I rode my tricycle off the porch when I was about 4.5, 5, and my knees were bloody, and I was crying like a banshee. I was bawling. And my mom came off the swing, off the porch at my grandma's, because that's where I rode off. And she sort of picked me up and said, "Why are you crying? It's not that bad. Just little scratches on your knees." Even though there was blood running down. "It's not bad. You're fine. Just get back up and keep playing." Like, I didn't know she was so tired from work, if it was after her work or she was just relaxing on a Saturday or Sunday. But later, of course, I had to stop crying or I was in trouble. So I'd stop crying and think in my head. I didn't know the 4-letter words I know now, but I was thinking those things like, what the? Bing, bing, my knees are bloody. So my grandma later, I went in her house and she saw my knees. So she put Mercurochrome and Band-Aids on my knees. Oh, my mom was tired. But that doesn't mean that I don't have mental health issues just because she was tired. It's the 7th daughter. It's the 10th child. She's 40-some years old. She's 50-some. She had to take in her grandkids when she was 47 years old and raise them yet. And, I felt like my fault when I'd speak up and say, "It looks like this." And they'd say, "You don't know anything. You don't know nothing." And here it was like that. I can't go into detail about that. But my book, Marriage, Mind, Funk, and Mindfulness, is the book I wrote, but I gave that away, like I said. And I do want to have a dance off with my grandson that's 19 years old, but he's in college working hard, and I don't know. He came home like for a half hour the other day to change to get to his job because he has a part-time job. And plus he's studying music now, and I'm so happy about that. So the dance off might not happen for a while, if at all, if he's too busy. But I'm going to try to fit one in here. So yeah, I feel like I'm in the way. Do you understand why I feel like I'm in the way? There's so much more. Yeah, there was fun times where I got things for my sisters. But the things that happened that were critical years of my life have affected me. And that's not my excuse for feeling in the way. It's the reason I'm feeling in the way. And sometimes we are in the way, but I feel like I'm in the way no matter what. If I don't do something to earn my way to be in the presence of these people, I am in the way. And I hope you understand that. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. And that you just keep dancing.